Kong here for Hollywood First Look. Today I'm with the cast of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power! What was it like getting this phone call?
It was such a long process, you know. It was like 6-7 months. There was a few rejections, you know, no's, going back to it, saying no, I'm not taking no for an answer. I almost at one point, like my second no, I was like in the desert in South Africa, and I was with my managers. I was like, maybe I can just fly to J.A.'s apartment and like in Barcelona, and I'll just wait there. We'll have a coffee, and he'll know. They're like, it's creepy.
Yeah.
And we don't want you to get arrested, you know. So let's think another plan. But when I finally got my yes, I just let out a big sigh. I was like, you know, it was just like I was ready, and then I was like, they one of those like little happy dances, but it was just a relief of like, having arrived.
I remember I got a yes creatively, and then I had to wait 3 weeks for sort of execs to say yes, and I was hard to be around during that period. So it was also relief when that happened.
Whoa, 3 weeks, that's a long time.
Wow. Around what time? Like, when was that?
Summer of 2019.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
So slow time.
Yeah.
How about you?
Very surreal. It was kind of the most internal. I had like a bit of an internal celebration, but I couldn't say anything. So to anyone, like absolutely no one, which was fine. But I found out when I was like learning lines for an audition, and I was very, very jet lagged, and so didn't quite believe it.
And you were the first one cast, right? That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah, she's the first one that was cast in the show.
Owain, are you in this movie, man? I don't even recognize.
No, I'm not. I'm a pretender. I've just had a shave.
Actually, I was wondering if everybody in this room, I'm imagining that you probably spend the most time in the makeup chair, or maybe I'm wrong.
I think out of us certainly. Yeah. The orcs, they had a pretty tough time as well. But yeah, I was there for 3 hours every day. Yeah, they were early morning calls.
Was Hall H the first time you got to hear your voice and see the trailer, or did they send you a link first?
We'd seen the trailer watermarked with very quiet speakers, so the Hall H experience was totally different. Yeah, I still haven't got over Hall H. It was totally mind-boggling, and I'm so glad the lights were down, because then when the lights go up at the end and there's just about 5 times more people than you realise were there. So it was a big first time seeing it as it should be seen.
Yeah, so Tyroe, I'm watching this, and everybody gets this phone call, and some people I've heard today, they're spending time in the makeup chair, 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours. I'm like, dude, this guy wakes up, shows up, they brush his hair, and then he goes to set, right?
It was 30 minutes I had in the chair. Well, actually, originally they had to make my time in the chair as small as they possibly could because of my age. I could only have 10 hours on set. So and that counted the time I spent in the makeup chair. So they were like, all they did was, I think they put sea salt spray in my hair, some powder I don't know the name of, and then dirt. And then they were like, okay, you're done, leave. So, yeah.
Maxim, you play kind of an iconic character in this series, and briefly referenced in the movies. But here, we're gonna see a lot more of you. So I don't know when you get that phone call and say hey, this is who you play, and you're if you go look in the mirror and you're like, my precious. I don't know if you do that. Just once maybe.
I still do that. I it's exciting. Yeah. I didn't actually find out who I was playing until I got the part. They're like, you're in Lord of the Rings, and I still didn't know who I was playing. So that we had a sort of over the Zoom, JD and Patrick took off their ring, and they were like, you're playing Isildur.
Yeah,
I was like, oh. And I had to quickly look him up. I was like, okay, now I know.
Well, the cool kind of thing is that you know your fate. You're okay, exactly. I know what happens to be much later, but
yeah, it's exciting to play. Well, there's a lot of expectation to play someone who's part of that Tolkien universe. People have a sense of ownership over a character that they've kind of sort of read about and have seen slightly on screen. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I feel pressure about that massively, but I also feel an overwhelming accountability and passion for the source material that was my home base, you know.
So Ben, I wanted to start with you because I was wondering, is it harder to play Abe Lincoln in a vampire world or being a High King in the Lord of the Rings?
Well, they both present challenges. Well, I mean, luckily, the way I approach all work is to study. I like that. It brings out my nerdy self. And so, though there were vampires, and that's a very little known aspect of American history, like I enjoyed learning about Lincoln and his legacy and his struggles and his depression and his relationships. And that's one of the joys of what we do, is that we get to step into someone else's world and immerse ourselves in it. And the great joy of this one is that it happens to be Tolkien.
You can find The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, streaming on Prime Video September 2nd.